if I told you that one of the reasons our du'as may not be answered is not because Allah is not listening to us? He always is. What if it's because we're not being radically honest enough with Allah and with ourselves? What if we're not being real enough with Allah? Hear me out. For a long time, when I used to make dua, I used to make this mistake. I wouldn't really reveal to Allah what I wanted and why I wanted it, because maybe somewhere deep inside I was shy or afraid or insecure, or I had a misconception of Allah. I would see Allah as this authoritative figure, and I wouldn't feel safe enough to actually confess to Allah my mistakes and what I really wanted and why I wanted it. And maybe somewhere it was also some kind of pride, to really be vulnerable with Allah. And I think that was the biggest block that was holding me back. I wasn't being real enough. And the more I make dua, the more I realize that actually dua is not here to reveal to Allah what is in our hearts, because Allah knows anyway. Dua is not meant to reveal ourselves to Allah. Dua is actually meant to reveal ourselves to ourselves. Have you ever thought about that? Allah actually uses dua as a transformational tool to transform us and align us with actually what we're asking Him for. This only happens when we're truly being honest with Allah. You see, the more you make dua to Allah, the more you engage with Allah in conversation, and you open up to Him, and you really be vulnerable with Him, and you really articulate what you want and why you want it. What happens is Allah starts to make you aware of parts of yourself that need to be healed, that need to be worked on, that need to be let go of, or that need to be transformed. And so when that happens, you're undergoing an internal shift. So the more you make dua honestly and being very vulnerable with Allah, the more you're going through an internal shift and transformation, and things starts to change and shift externally, because Allah says He does not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. And ask yourself, what if you're not being really honest with Allah and with yourself? And we see this in actually the du'as of the prophets, may peace be upon them. If we take the dua of Prophet Adam alayhi salam, one of his first du'as, where he said, رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا. Indeed, Allah, we have wronged ourselves. What did he do? He actually confessed to his own mistake. He took ownership of his own actions. He didn't even blame the devil for that. So you see, sometimes we have to acknowledge where we have fallen short, where we have wronged our own selves. Allah wants us to learn to take accountability, to become aware of our own shortcomings, because that vulnerability is the first sign of humility. Until you do that, you will always be holding on to a facade, to a lie. You will be holding on to pride, and pride is the biggest blockage to answer du'as. We see the same thing with Prophet Yunus alayhi salam in the whale. He confessed, "Inni kuntu min al-dhalimin." Indeed, Allah was among the wrongdoers. You have to get real with Allah. You have to confess. You have to come clean with Allah. Stop trying to save face in front of Allah. Stop trying to pretend, because Allah knows anyway. He wants you to see yourself. He wants you to come face to face with your own true self, not to lie to your own self anymore. Another example we see of the dua of Prophet Musa alayhi salam, when he was in the desert, he was a fugitive, all alone, abandoned, with nothing. What did he say? Rabbi inni liman zalta ilay min khair faqir. Oh Allah, I'm in desperate need of whatever good you can send my way. He acknowledged his desperate neediness of Allah. And this is something I used to lack. I wouldn't really confess to Allah how much I needed Him. I would always kind of hold on to my dignity, my pride, not realizing that that was blocking my du'as from getting answered. I had to get real with Allah. I had to cry in front of Allah. I had to expose myself completely to Allah. Then Allah would reveal my true self to myself. And that self-awareness is what changes everything. Because you see, dua is actually like a mirror. It mirrors back at you who you truly are. When you're radically honest, that's when you become self-aware. When you confess your struggles, you actually set aside your pride. And that's when things start to change inside. And when you acknowledge your weakness, you start to embody humility. And when you surrender your facade, you start to experience freedom. So what happens is you start to see yourself clearly. You start to release fear and shame. You start to surrender control and actually open your heart to receive what you've been asking Allah for. So this internal transformation actually creates the fertile ground where Allah's blessings, answers, and miracles can actually manifest in your life. So all along, dua was not about getting Allah to listen to you and to answer. Dua was actually about transforming you internally and aligning you exactly with what you've been asking Allah for all along.